Hi, I'm Danielle Bassoni from Veggin' Out and About. Today we are going to learn to make a dish called Spicy Potatoes Masala. And this is a dish that I learned from this wonderful chef and co-owner of Dosa Garden in Staten Island. And this is a dish he taught me to make. You can use it as a stuffing for dosas, for uttapam, the wonderful Indian pancakes made with lentils, or you can have it for any side dish. But I have taken it a little step farther, and I use it to stuff chard leaves, like a cabbage roll. I make a Swiss chard roll stuffed with these wonderful fragrant potatoes. We're going to start. We have 3 potatoes, and I leave the skin on because I prefer to keep the nutrition, as much nutrition as possible. And I use organic potatoes, and there are 3 about this size. And I have this heating already. You can hear it sizzling a little bit. So there are 3 of these. It's about 1 pound and 12 ounces. And I'm using 2 cups of water. And we're just going to bring that to a boil. And in the meantime, I'm going to be preparing the onion mixture that will go in it. And this is 1 medium to large onion. You can hear this is already sizzling. Now, most chefs, most Indian chefs, and by the way, Dosa Garden is a Indian Sri Lankan restaurant. Some of the best food, Indian food I've ever had. It's really a wonderful, cozy little place to eat. So if you're ever on Staten Island, please make an attempt to visit this place. So I prefer to cook without oil. And so a lot of the things that Indians do to their dishes prior to cooking them, I don't do. For example, I do not temper the mustard seeds and the cumin seeds in oil. This is 2 teaspoons of black mustard seeds. And this is a teaspoon of cumin seeds. Actually, the chef that I spoke of did not actually use cumin in this, or he did not tell me this ingredient, but I felt like it would be really good in it, so I've gone ahead and added it. And you can leave it out if you like. So we also use curry leaves. These are Indian curry leaves. These are pretty much on their last leg. I put at least 6 in there, but I like curry a lot, so I'm putting 2 whole stems in there. And you can buy these at most Indian grocers. I bought mine in Johnson City, Tennessee at a place called Spice World, which has wonderful Indian spices and flowers and things like that. So we're going to let this cook down. So as this starts to stick, rather than having oil, just add a little bit of water. By the way, you can also use vegetable stock. And if I have vegetable stock on hand, I will use that. Today I didn't happen to have any. I also use vegetable stock in boiling my potatoes, but again, I didn't have any on hand today, and it wasn't worth it to me to go to the extra effort of making it. But if I happen to have some on hand, I use vegetable stock instead of water. It's just an excuse to give yourself more nutrients. Whenever you have an opportunity to add more nutrients, why not? Okay, I'm going to add a little bit more water to this. And I'm going to put the lid on it and let this cook down just a little bit. The other ingredients that we have is a teaspoon of turmeric, a half a teaspoon of red chili pepper. If you like more chili pepper, you certainly can add another half teaspoon. Or if you don't like chili pepper at all, you can omit it. I have a half a teaspoon of salt here. I don't like to add a lot of salt to foods, and if you are salt sensitive, by all means leave it out. I typically leave it out of most of my foods, but especially when I'm serving other people who are not used to low salt foods, I'll add just a little bit, just enough to make it palatable for them. starting to cook down, I'm going to go ahead and add the seasonings. Turmeric is a very healthy food. India has the lowest rate of Alzheimer's in the world, and it is thought it's because of the active ingredient curcumin that is in turmeric. It's important when you cook with turmeric to know that you also need to add black pepper. This is 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, because black pepper increases the bioavailability of turmeric 2,000%. And so if you want to get the health benefits of turmeric, you also need to add black pepper. And you don't need much. Just a little bit will do the job. I'm going to go ahead and add the red pepper. This is 1/2 teaspoon. I really love hot pepper, but there are people who don't like it at all. So and since this is for us, I'm not going to add the salt. I just wanted to let you know that you can add salt if you really want to. This will feed 4 people, so if you're going to add salt, 1/2 teaspoon is plenty, and that gives only 1/8 teaspoon of salt per person, so that's below the daily limit for salt. This is wonderfully fragrant, and there was no need to add oil in order to bring the fragrance out of these products. I'm going to reduce the temperature and let this cook for a little bit. I'm going to put a little water in it, and we'll wait for our potatoes before we go any farther. Okay, so the potatoes are, we're cooking the potatoes until they're fork tender. Just check them, see if the fork goes through, they're done. One of the things I want to mention is that I really like using Yukon Gold potatoes because they have such a buttery texture, and they don't fall apart when you're cooking them. They don't reach a point where you have to worry about them disintegrating. And they're just a lovely flavored potato. I am going to strain this and reserve the water because I may need it when I'm mashing the potatoes. Okay, dropped one here. Okay, and this is, I'm going to turn this off. And this is nice and ready. Can you see that these onions are nice and soft? And if you were here, you could really enjoy the aroma of these. So we're going to add the potatoes. And we're going to turn this off. And I use this type of potato masher. And the reason I like this type of potato masher is because when I leave the skins on, it doesn't plug up my masher. It makes it very easy. And I'm going to add a little of this potato water. It's got it's got nutrients from the potatoes, and it also has a little starch in it, so it thickens it as well. There's no need to add oil or butter or cream or anything like that to it. You can see it's getting my glasses too. Just enough to make it moist. You don't want it soggy. This is wonderful. And you don't want it too mushy. You want it to have some texture to it. I'm going to get some of this from the edges. Add just a little bit more water. And like I said, it could have been vegetable stock. When you get used to not eating salt, if you're able to get salt out of your diet, at first things will start tasting bland to you, but after you get used to it, everything will start tasting too salty. So that's really a habit I encourage you to get into, is reducing the amount of salt in your diet. Okay, so now that we have these mashed, and it's wonderfully fragrant and delicious, we are going to add the cashews. And we'll just stir these in. These are cashews that we roasted earlier. And I have a video on that, on how to roast the cashews. So if you missed that, you can always go to our channel on YouTube and find that. And we just fold those in. And this will feed 4 to 6 people depending on the size of the servings and what you intend to do with it. So there you have it, spicy potato masala with roasted cashews.